Now, Federated Farmers is confident that scaling back new freshwater regulations is making amendments to climate change legislation will not hurt New Zealand's prospects of future free trade deals. As reported in this week's Farmers Weekly by journalist Colin Williscroft, New Zealand's top trade negotiator Vangelis Vitale has warned sheep and beef farmers that their environmental and animal welfare record will come under close scrutiny. But Andrew and Feds don't think this is the case and joins us now. Welcome, Andrew.
Good afternoon, Sarah.
It's a balancing act, though, isn't it? Because there was many a very thought-provoking concepts that came out of that beef and lamb webinar, and we should be keeping a close eye on it. And Feds are playing a fine line on this as well. Explain your position.
So I guess where I'm coming from is I like to view the fact that New Zealand's number one in terms of a number of sustainability metrics for agriculture across the world. That's the sort of position we need to maintain and hold. Sustainability definitely counts for stuff with consumers, but certainly I was picking up, a lot of sort of scaremongering that if we don't have these, quite heavy-handed regulations, that suddenly we're going to lose markets, and I don't think that's the case. The fact is, with most trade negotiations, you can't really go and apply a standard to another country's farmers that you don't apply to your own. So for us to, say that, okay, let's re-look at the methane target, get it more realistic, no other country is going to say, oh, we can't trade with New Zealand because they've dropped their methane target, when they don't even have, we're the only country that's probably got a legislated methane target for its farmers. None of the others do. And, our emissions profile per kg of meat and milk, number one. So for them to for this belief that, that we'll get cut out of trade deals, I don't think it's right.
Yeah, but what I took from our interview last week with Stephanie Honey from Beef and Lamb following that trade webinar was it wasn't so much the fact that we weren't doing, it was the fact that we were so overachieving, we were threatening their production systems, and therefore they were only going to continue to protect in a nationalism scenario by trying to find more holes in our already A triple plus glowing report.
Yeah, that's probably true. They're very protectionist. If you look at the EU, UK, the US, agriculture is extremely sensitive to them. They protect it a hell of a lot. And so they'll always be looking for any sort of excuse as to why they shouldn't have a free trade deal with New Zealand. And so they'll grab on anything. But, I think we need to take a line that, things need to be science-based. They need to be realistic. They need to be, stack up on those science fundamentals. Worries that I have is that you potentially get situations where, public pressure in the EU, let's ban glyphosate, for example. And then they'll try and say, we're not going to trade with any countries that do use glyphosate. Now, if that ban isn't based on any real science, to me that's not good trade policy. I think we've got to maintain that solid level of, science-based decision making. There was a really good talk, probably not many people have been able to see it, by Jason Clay, who's the senior world vice president of the World Wildlife Fund. And, and I've heard him speak in person at the World Dairy Summit, and his attitude is that we actually need more free trade to protect the environment. That food production needs to occur where it's done most efficiently, and that is, what's going to help prevent, the world exceeding the planetary boundaries, etc. And so I think that's sort of the attitude that we need to be taking. and progressing on a worldwide stage.
That's a very valid point, actually. New Zealand can show leadership by utilising trade as that tool to ensure that there is that behavioural change in agricultural systems around the world. Of course, favouring New Zealand. Andrew, wonderful to hear your thoughts around that tonight. Before you sneak off, you'd have I don't know. What would Andrew Hoggard have as a dog? I'm just assuming. I don't want to assume. I found out Andrew Morrison likes to watch rom-coms, so I'm happy to be surprised.
Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever.
Golden Retriever. Yeah, it's not mine. It's my daughter's. It's called Elsa, of course, from Frozen.
Oh, bless.
Yeah.
Oh, I grew up with Golden Retrievers, and of course, coming from Central Otago, it was called Tussock. So, very original. Yeah. Hey, Andrew, a pleasure always to have you on Sarah's Country. Thank you so much, and we'll catch up very soon. That's Andrew Hoggard, President for Federated Farmers.
This is Sarah's Country.